up, y'all? It is Unique, your recovery mastery strategy. And the reason I started this series, Overcoming Being Overwhelmed, is because I was challenged to, because life be life. If you've been tuning in with me, you already know rule number 1, take your behind to bed. Rule number 2, I wonder how it's going to be like when I get to like rule 30. I'm gonna probably have to have some paper and a pen. Rule number 2, what was rule number 2? I forgot rule number 2. I forgot. I hate that. Hold up. Rule number 2, make a list. Make use of your calendars, your reminders, timers, whatever. Write them down, make post-its, whatever you gotta do. Rule number 3, when you wake up in the morning, give yourself a second. Don't just wake up and just try to shoot out the door. Like, give yourself a second to pray, meditate, eat, whatever it is, to kind of get yourself centered. Rule number 4, the to-don't list. Some things just not gonna get done, and they won't get done, and they don't get done, and that's all good. It's all good if they don't get done. It's all good. Rule number 5, say no. Say no. It's okay to say no. Like, no is a complete sentence. You don't owe nobody no explanation. For real. Like, if you care about them, then, and you want to provide an explanation, but you don't have to say yes to everything. And that's exactly why I did the to-don't list. You ain't going to be able to serve you and serve others at the same time all the time. It just don't work like that. And like I said earlier, like, there's only 24 hours in a day. And realistically, like, it's only 24 hours in a day. And 7, 8 of them I'm asleep. So I have to make my list, figure out what it is I'm gonna do today, and I have to sometimes make an executive decision. Sometimes stuff just not gonna get done, and that's all right. I really hate when I done committed to doing something for someone and I'm stressed out because I'm still trying to do what I have to do. Like, for example, today, I had to show up on a work call. At the same time, I'm trying to do my homework. I'm trying to read and all of that stuff at the same time. And I was able to show up for her. That's something that I had to show up for. Granted, it wasn't mandatory, but I know it meant something to her for me to show up. Some cases, you're going to have to say no. I shared the other day that I had a friend of mine that was reaching a milestone in his life, and I really wanted to be there to support him. However, I had to rightfully decline. Like, you can't be at every, my grandma called it every dog fight. It is what it is. The reality is, it's like, we don't like saying no because we're more concerned about what other people have to say. I'm more concerned about how you're going to feel if I say no. Saying no is a complete sentence. I don't feel like it. I don't have time. When it comes to being overwhelmed with so much stuff, you have to really, like, look at that stuff. Okay, something gotta go. And majority of the times, a lot of the stuff that be on our plate, a lot of the stuff that we're overwhelmed with, don't even be having nothing to do with us. We just be trying to do too much. I remember one time overbooking myself for a weekend. I legit overbooked myself for a weekend. I wanted to show up to some mastermind class I had. I wanted to attend this soft life event for women. I wanted to go to this, I had to go to some convention that weekend. Like, I just had a lot of stuff going on, and then I really looked at the calendar and I'm like, how did I expect to attend all these events that weekend and still breathe? Saying no is not just saying no to people. Saying no is saying no to yourself majority of the time. A part of us that wants to do something, but then there's that part of us that really don't. And that part that's real quiet, that's the part we really need to listen to. The part that's just like, no, I shouldn't do this, or I don't want to do this, or I can't do this. That's the part we should probably really listen to, because that's the portion of you that is overwhelmed. That's the part that gets loud when things get crazy. Being an extroverted person, I'm like with everything. What's up? Let's get into it. I'm excited. Let's do it. But then I'm like, why the hell did I sign up for this? It's too much for me. And I have found myself on multiple occasions having to tell myself no. No, you can't go to the party. No, you can't go out to eat. No, you can't go do this. No, you don't need to go chill with them. No, you can't go there. You can't be taking no trip. No, you need to come home tonight and study. No, you need to do your homework. No, I have to tell myself no a lot of times, because at the end of the day, I constantly make decisions and then I have to own up to the consequences because I didn't know how to say no. And that's rather saying no to myself or saying no to other people. Fortunately, we have tools out here. You got me, your recovery mastery strategist, that's going to help you on this journey of overcoming being overwhelmed, because life can be life and life will stress you out if you let it. Understanding the importance of coping skills. Some of our coping skills are so simple. Like, we cognitively know these things. However, we still do the complete opposite. I cognitively know in order for me to be productive in the morning, I need to take my behind to bed. But then I'll stay up till 3, 4 o'clock in the morning and have to be up at 7. I cognitively know I should use my calendars and reminders to keep me on track with things, but I still don't. And then it's like, oh, you coming to that's the day? What was rule number 3? I cognitively know. I hear so many people say all of these things to get centered in the morning, and I'm understanding the benefit of that. I cognitively know that you shouldn't just jump straight up, brush your teeth, and run out the door. Sometimes I'm like, just 5 more minutes. Just 5 more minutes, 5 more minutes, and then I don't have nothing but 5 minutes to get myself together and run out the house. It doesn't have to be that way. To don't list. Cognitively know that I don't have to submit to everything, but I want to be superwoman. I want to save everything and everybody. Like, I can just cram all of this into 24 hours and do what I got to do, then it'll get, it'll superwoman. I cognitively know that I do not have to say yes to everything. I still do, because I care about people. That FOMO, fear of missing out. You just have so many other reasons, but we have to be clear on what it is that we have to do on a day-to-day basis. Doing my homework today, making my meeting for my client today, getting to this challenge on a regular basis today. There are some things that are non-negotiable. The non-negotiables, you have to build around those things, and some things you just got to say no to. I learned about non-negotiables from CJ. That's my dog. I love CJ. CJ taught me about non-negotiables. There are some things that just cannot, you have to do them. But it's a lot of things we could just say no to. Prime example, I joined, with all the stuff I have going on, I decided to join a school organization. Why did I do that? At first, it sounded great, good. I get to get the full college experience. I get to be a part of some organizations. I get to, use some of my skills, and it'll look good on my resume and all these fantastic things. Ultimately, it overwhelmed me. It added to the overwhelmness. Wasn't nothing well about none of that. And I knew that with making my list of life obligations, something had to go, and that was one of them. And I had to tell myself, no, you can't afford to do that right now. But the affordability is time. I don't really have the time or the energy to really commit to it like I would like to. So if I'm not going to do it effectively, I don't want to do it at all. So I would much rather say no. It is what it is. And I have to tell myself no on a consistent basis. And I'm learning to tell others no. Support you and support me at the same time. I have to show up for myself, and overcoming being overwhelmed is partially you not showing up for you. Cape is in the closet. I'm always running to save somebody. I'm learning to take my cape off and say no. Just because I can don't mean I have to. Let's get somebody else to do it. Rule number 1, take your behind to bed. Rule number 2 is, I always get stuck now because these rules is adding up. Rule number 2, make a list before you go to bed of the things you gotta do. Rule number 3, give yourself a second. You can get centered and kindly revise that list if necessary. The 4th rule, which is make that to don't list. With your list, make another list. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. Sometimes we have to make the best decision. Like, ultimately, I have to do some of these things, but the other things I don't have to. Rule number 5, no is a complete sentence. Say no to yourself. And you can say no to someone else, and sometimes you need to say no to yourself. Because majority of the stuff that we are overwhelmed about comes from our own decision making. All of it. Of course, there's sometimes we're victims of bad decisions, and we can't control certain things around us, but there are a lot of things that we commit to that we have control over that we don't have to do. So I ain't gonna be able to do it, and that's okay. Till next time, y'all, I will see y'all tomorrow, day 6.